Before we start this video, I'd just like to say thanks to Davidus C., one of my True Believer patrons on Patreon, for requesting this video. If you'd like to request a video, head on over to patreon.com/thebirdman to find out how.
No one, absolutely no one in the history of existence, not a single multi-celled organism. CinemaSins, 35 seconds of 2 logos is entirely too many logos.
Oh god, CinemaSins has found meme culture.
Blade Runner, 1927.
Don't disrespect the Blade Runner franchise with this travesty of a film. As an aside, I'm going to use this opportunity to plug my 2 Blade Runner videos, the first of which is what started the Everything Wrong with CinemaSins series. You can watch this by using the in card at the end of this video.
Magical Mr. Miyagi menacingly murders mosquito.
Jeremy wants to be Dr. Seuss so bad.
Also, damn dude, you can't be bothered to use your hand. Just because you can use your magical abilities doesn't mean you should for piddly shit like this. This is just as stupid as when Hayden Christensen used his warping abilities just to go to the kitchen and jumper.
Dude, do you not realize that Grindelwald is a prisoner right now? I mean, you obviously saw the last movie where at the very end he was arrested by the Magical Congress of the United States, and you still think he's the one using magic here?
We've had to change his guard 3 times. He's very persuasive, so we removed his tongue.
Is there not a spell you can put on someone to make them stop talking?
Wait, so you're being presented with actual evidence that Grindelwald is a prisoner, and you still have the gall to include the previous sin? 5 sins for being dishonest. Or stupid.
These guards training wands on Grindelwald may be the fucking least intimidating people I've ever seen. This looks like kids playing in the backseat of mom's car after watching Prisoner of Azkaban.
How do they look any less intimidating than Voldemort or Snape? You're aware that these sticks are absurdly powerful magical devices, yes? I mean, if they were pointing guns at him, he'd actually have a chance. Also, that fucking laugh.
Look, I can't see anything. You can't see anything. This movie's already a war crime on our senses and actively hates you and everyone you love. So onto the sentencing screen, because what a waste of time this shit is. Chris just told me he didn't go to Vietnam just to watch us quit now, and I told him that he could have ended that statement after Vietnam, but then he just did a bunch of R. Lee Ermey quotes from Full Metal Jacket and left the room, and I realized he was right.
You're doing this because the guy that plays Creedence is also the Flash, and I did this gag in my Flash video, right? Stealing my joke? Stealing my joke.
He's trying to copy it. So needy.
There was no point to this creature at all. How did he help in the escape? He kind of attacked Spielman, but it's not like they needed him to attack Spielman.
Jeremy answers himself ex machina.
All that magic at his fingertips and Grindelwald, let's gravity decide this.
That's funny, considering only a few sins ago you said this.
Damn dude, you can't be bothered to use your hand. Just because you can use your magical abilities doesn't mean you should. In case you confused it with Lauren London. Sure, this magical vacuum with its various cleaners looks cool, until you realize that magic people shouldn't even need a vacuum.
Why not? Because they could just use magic to clean everything? Which is exactly what they're doing here?
Dude, I love Zoe Kravitz as much as the next guy, probably even more than the next guy, but these constant extreme close-ups of her at the beginning of the movie are starting to give me the heebie-jeebies.
Sinning close-ups of Zoe Kravitz. Admittedly, this was a sin future Birdman wanted me to include. Go to the next fucking sin.
Grindelwald wants to see that piece destroyed, and for certain members of our community, his message is very seductive.
I mean, not chocolat, or Wingardium Leviosa.
I assume this means I have the job.
These are supposed to be wizards, right? And at least some wizards can read minds, like Queenie. So why is it that no one can call out Grimson's obvious ties to Grindelwald?
As has been explained to you in my last video, some wizards have the capability to close off their minds from powerful legitimacy, a technique called occlumency.
When did wizards stop saying Avada Kedavra for the death spell? Or, since this is a prequel and all, when did the wizards start having to say Avada Kedavra for the death spell?
Actually, if you're an accomplished enough wizard, you don't have to speak the name of a spell.
And you shall be dead.
To annihilate annihilate non-wizards.
Not all of them. The beast of burden will always be necessary.
They will? But why?
Jeremy is a Death Eater.
Hey kids, want some nice escapist entertainment over the holidays that doesn't involve casual infanticide within the first 20 minutes? Well, have you come to the wrong place?
That's your problem for thinking this was a kid's movie. This goes for you irresponsible parents out there too. Pay attention to the ratings of the films you go see. I saw parents bringing young children into Deadpool and Sausage Party. Just because something is animated or based on a comic or book doesn't mean it's appropriate for everyone.
Wait, a spell that blows wind and only affects the guy you want it to affect? How oddly specific.
Welcome to magic, Scully.
He needs to be found, and I rather hope you might be the one to find him.
Listen, I like Newt. He's a unique character that has intimate knowledge of beasties and stuff, but he's far from a powerful aura. And Albus knows this even if he admires him. He seriously can't trust anyone with more ability to go track this asshole down.
You're asking this of a man that recruited a teenager to take on probably the most powerful wizard in history.
Good evening, Newt.
Wait, no. Dumbledore? More like Dumble-Dick, am I right? He is kind of a dick, though. You have to admit that.
No, he's not a dick. But he likes dick.
Okay, so we've got Grindelwald on the loose, murdering babies, the intrigue between the Ministry, Newt, and Theseus, Bunty's crush, the need to locate a dangerous Creedence, the emergence of Dumbledore, his relationship with Grindelwald, and we haven't even gotten to the parts with Queenie, Tina, and Jacob. So tell me again why we need these long stretches of magical monster maintenance in this movie?
Because it's still called Fantastic Beasts?
Perhaps you should take off your shirt.
Don't worry, I'll dry off quick enough.
Newt has a horned-up redhead at his office, and all he can think about doing is getting himself wet.
Yeah, but you know he's still in love with Tina. Get Jeremy's wife on the phone. This man is a cheater.
You were supposed to have been obliviated.
It didn't work, pal. The potion only erases bad memories. I didn't have any.
Hey, this is a great way to not do any work when reintroducing the Jacob Kowalski character, who clearly didn't remember any fucking thing at the end of the last movie. But yeah, I'm ready to move on to.
Bullshit. Jacob most definitely remembered Queenie at the very end of that film.
Theseus is marrying Lita, not me.
Look, I don't know how rigorous the journalistic standards are for this Spellbound periodical, but this seems like an extremely easy fact to verify before publication.
Spellbound is a tabloid magazine. This is like asking TMZ to be accurate about anything. They're very similar to CinemaSins in that regard.
Queenie, you've got nothing to fear if he wants to get married. We can just lift the enchantment and he can tell us himself.
Movie suddenly turns so hard into Love Potion number 9 that Sandra Bullock and Tate Donovan just found surprise royalty checks in the mail.
No, it didn't.
You don't need to enchant me. I'm already enchanted.
Then why did Queenie do that in the first place? She fucking roofied him with magic, man. And we're still rooting for this character?
No, because she actually turns to the dark side at the end. This shows that she is ruthless and will do whatever it takes to get what she wants.
Wait, this magical mystery mammal is named Patrick? Patrick? The hell? Shouldn't this creature have a fantastical name like Mesmeronius Maximus?
Patrick is the name of an augury, an Irish phoenix.
I've got it.
Unsolicited blowing.
I'm going to ignore this ridiculous sin and point out that this is Patrick, the bird you referred to as a mammal.
Why does Newt continue to take nifflers with him when he knows those assholes are nothing but trouble? Sure, one of them ends up getting the blood pact, but Newt doesn't know that.
Wrong. Newt specifically sets the niffler free in order for it to help find Dumbledore and Grindelwald's blood pact. This is why Dumbledore recruits Newt to find Creedence. This was literally shown in the scene where the niffler was helping Newt investigate the circus.
Swapping Spitfire.
Pointing things out on the screen.
In addition to being a prequel to Harry Potter, this movie is also an origin story for The Shape of Water.
Boo this man!
I mean, sure, she's got the blood curse and eventually will become an evil snake permanently, but I'd still go out for a cup of coffee with her.
Get Jeremy's wife on the phone.
We spent all this time watching a goddamn circus tent magically get packed up. For what reason? It's cool, I guess.
Let me stop you right there. It's cool. That's it. People watch movies to be entertained, and showing them something cool is why they pay $40 for popcorn.
Okay, so this is way more extreme than the 420 parties I have. To me, the very idea of skull bong is antithetical to the task at hand, but this guy's evil, so what do I know?
Wait a minute. Jeremy has just admitted to smoking weed in Tennessee. Get the police on the phone.
Creedence barebone.
Did we really need the smoke monster from Lost or the Stannis Shadow from Game of Thrones to make this PowerPoint hologram of Creedence?
Jeremy makes a pop culture reference that isn't a sin of the film cliche.
What do you think I should say to her if I see her?
Say you loved Inherent Vice, especially the part at exactly 1 hour, 43 minutes, and 36 seconds into the film. And yeah, I know that movie doesn't come out for another 87 years, but you're magic, so you can figure it out.
Everything wrong with Fantastic Beasts 2, ladies and gentlemen. An incomprehensible level of bullshit.
Also, did I miss a very special episode of the Fantastic Beasts TV series or something in between the first movie and now? There was a little bit of flirting between Newt and Tina, but they were hardly ready to get down and dirty at the end of the last movie.
A little bit of flirting? Hardly ready to get down and dirty?
How would you feel if I if I gave you your copy in person?
I like that. Very much.
If she was any wetter, she'd drown.
Why is it that the kids in the Harry Potter movies could run into the magical platform at top speed in a crowded train station and no one noticed? But they have to be all stealthy here.
Probably because there is literally a dude standing directly in front of where they need to go?
That's Forrest Gump in magical language.
I'm sending you here for not paying attention to this scene and instead making a lame joke, because this scene explains one sin you've given this film already and one you will give in the future.
How did these two escape exactly? We saw Creedence make a distraction with the tiny dragons, but he didn't open the cage that Nagini was in, and the crowd cleared out quickly. So how did they get past the evil ringmaster? My point is that the movie could have easily shown me that, instead of all the footage of Queenie's Midtown breakdown in the rain.
The man that has been complaining for years about movies showing him pointless details that pad the runtime of those movies, complaining that he's not getting pointless details that would pad the runtime of this movie. Besides, you've answered yourself. The distraction was how they got past everyone, because that's what distractions do.
God damn it, I'm sick of all these random powers, like walking through f***ing walls, just showing up without explanation in this movie. The wizards are basically X-Men now.
Dude, like 30 seconds ago, you saw and complained about Newt and Jacob walking through a wall. Now you're acting like this is some new magic that you've never seen before. I don't care how it looks. It's the same shit.
I'll just fire indiscriminately towards the bed sheets. Worked when I was a teenager. Mom never found out. And sheets are all white, so...
A person who censors the word shit making a semen joke.
You disgust me. Go on.
You know what I miss about Queenie? Everything.
You know what would have been more interesting? Any other answer other than everything. Literally. I would have removed every sin and retired from CinemaSins if he said her vagina.
Okay.
You know what I miss about Queenie?
Her vagina. There, he said it. Retire.
So, was Tina also Kama's prisoner? And if so, why didn't she immediately tell Newt to get out of there? And if she wasn't a prisoner, what the is she doing here? This movie is extremely unnecessarily confusing.
She obviously was a prisoner. The reason she doesn't immediately yell, "Get out," is because she is shocked to see Newt here. Besides, Newt was disarmed almost immediately after stepping in this sex dungeon.
Yeah, but this is a cell with regular bars. Could the super powerful f***ing wizards not use an Accio spell to get their wands after Kama keeled over?
I know this movie has basically shit all over the Accio spell, but one thing remains constant. You need a wand to cast it, and you can't Accio your wand without your wand. Cue the next f***ing movie showing someone using Accio without their wand.
I think he knows where Creedence is, Mr. Scamander.
You do? He does? Then why hasn't he tried to kill him yet?
So do you immediately jump into something without planning or doing research? I guess that would explain the quality of CinemaSins these days.
Newt drops this toy into the suitcase, and the beast goes after it, but then what? Now it's in his workshop running amok. Is he hoping Bunty will corral it and find a place where it won't eat the other fantastic beasts? Or is this just something we're not supposed to worry about? Suitcase closed, worry's over.
You made this same argument in the last video about the Erumpent, and the answer is the same as it was then. There are atmospheric charms on the suitcase that make sure the animals go where they are best suited.
Scamander appears wherever the Obscurial goes.
But it's only been in 2 places. Sure, Newt's on the Wizardly Homeland Security watch list or whatever, but it's not like he's been following Creedence all over the world or anything.
It seems like you're purposefully mishearing him or something. He said,
Commander appears wherever the Obscurial goes.
Not wherever Creedence goes. There is a difference. Hell, the Obscurial might not even be Creedence, but that's a theory for another YouTuber to tackle.
These things burn even in the daylight? I guess the Candle Cartel has struck Hogwarts too. Magic or no, this is still a fire hazard.
No, it's not, because it's f***ing magic. You can't say magic or no, because it's f***ing magic.
Mr. Scamander fears what more than anything else in the world?
Having to work in an office, sir.
What a stupid f***ing fear. He's a high schooler, man. It's not like he's been working at Initech for the last few years.
From everything that we've seen about Newt, this totally makes sense. He wants to be in the field with the animals that he loves. Also, hey Jeremy, what's happening? Yeah, if you could just stop making pop culture references, that would be terrific.
Also, if we're going to allow abstract concepts into this thing, what if what I fear the most is like famine? How does the boggart show that? Thousands of hungry people? If I say ridiculous to that and turn all those hungry people into kittens, I'm kind of being offensive, right?
I would assume the boggart would turn into a hungry person, and the ridiculous spell would turn him into your average American.
Ha ha!
What was that?
There must be a water dragon in that sewer. They carry these parasites.
This feels like something thrown into the script to make Newt so much more useful than he'd normally be. This development is the movie continuing to stall the main story and justifying Newt's existence in it.
Dude, this movie is called Fantastic Beasts. If anything, the Grindelwald story should be a side plot.
Creedence.
Just how the does Grindelwald know where Creedence is? I guess we're supposed to believe that Grimson's been tailing them since this scene, but he left and went to give Grindelwald an update right after that. So how did anyone figure out where he was?
I just don't understand why you can flat out answer yourself and still not accept the answer you yourself came up with. Just because he went to report to Gellert doesn't mean he all of a sudden stopped tailing them, genius. You are terrible at watching movies.
Also, Jacob's going after Queenie and this asshole doesn't say one thing about how dangerous it is. Oh yeah, maybe he tries and Jacob interrupts him, but what a bunch of bull.
Again, you've answered yourself. You know what? Never mind.
That's my brother Theseus.
Didn't she see that wedding announcement that apparently misled her into believing Newt was getting married? I'm not saying she should have memorized Dude's face, but I am still incredulous she doesn't know who he is.
If she was so distraught at the idea of Newt possibly banging Lenny Kravitz's daughter, hey, what makes you think she paid attention to this relatively unassuming dude? You underestimate a woman's ability to not give a fuck about anything else while she's misunderstanding something.
Newt's not a hardened criminal, he just violated a minor travel restriction. So why is his face plastered all over the most wanted posters?
So Jeremy thinks the travel restriction was minor, except the head of magical law enforcement himself visited Dumbledore with the express purpose of questioning him about Newt, because it was a minor travel restriction.
Don't move.
I love it when wizards hold wands up to people's heads like it's a goddamn 9mm. Those things work long range, man.
Okay. The reason they do this is because A, it lets the victim know that they have a wand trained on them, which makes them much less likely to move, and B, it gives the wizard a much better chance at hitting their target. We've seen wands miss at long range all throughout this series.
Puis-je vous aider? Yes, this is Lita Lestrange. I'm her.
Allez-y.
But why?
Because the Lestrange family is famous and well respected, especially in Paris where they originate.
But they won't hurt you unless you...
Supervise!
Unless you attack them.
Actually sounds like they're kind of shitty guards then. This presupposes that everybody attacks them when they see these things instead of just running away. And this also presupposes that Newt is the only motherfucker who knows this.
Yeah, but why would you run away from a cat? Don't you know that cats live for that shit? Also, yeah, it makes sense that Newt is one of the few people that knows anything about these otherwise harmless but fearsome-looking creatures. I mean, think about it. How many people would panic if they were suddenly facing down a whale shark while snorkeling?
During the middle of this fight between CGI animals, everyone is suddenly transported to the cemetery for some reason. No explanation, they're just there. We don't see anybody cast a spell or touch an object, they just transport. It's almost like the movie itself is trying to find a way to end quicker.
A Zowu, the giant liger-like animal here, has the ability to teleport as was explained by Newt in the scene you weren't paying attention to earlier.
Newt, what made those?
That is a Zowu. It's a Chinese creature. They are incredibly fast and incredibly powerful, so they can travel 1,000 miles in a day. This one could take you from one part of Paris to the next in a single leap.
So this is the truth? I am Corvus Lestrange?
Yes. Yes.
No.
This entire bull at the tomb about Creedence is just a big old fake out, and thus can kiss all of my ass, and receive 10 extra sins. I'm honestly not sure which is a rougher punishment, but I'm sure the movie's earned it.
Okay, so you're stating that because there is a twist in a film, it deserves 10 sins?
Why? Realizing that Mustafa Kama's son has sworn revenge, your father sought to hide you where I couldn't find you.
There are tremendous gaps in this narrative. First off, let's not ignore how fucking stupid the revenge is. Yusuf had to kill someone close to Corvus Lestrange, but not Lestrange himself, so it's very specific.
This is due to Corvus V being Corvus IV's pride and joy. Killing him meant that Kama would take something special away from Corvus, the same way he took his mother.
Yusuf somehow figured out that Corvus didn't love his daughter, so he decided to put revenge on hold, until he got married and had a boy 3 years later.
This is because Yusuf made an unbreakable vow to kill the person Corvus loved the most. If he didn't love his daughter, then he couldn't kill her, as that would violate the vow.
But you must die.
And Corvus isn't around to witness it anymore. Seems like this revenge is officially stupid.
But that isn't the point. Yusuf has made an unbreakable vow. If he does not attempt to complete his contract, the vow will kill him.
Can we talk about the practical physics of all this magic?
No, because it's fucking magic. Moving on.
First off, Newt sees that from this far away. Second, how does he know what this is? He may have seen a blood pact before, but aren't they all unique?
This is the first time a blood pact has ever been shown in the Harry Potter universe, so I must ask you, where the hell are you getting that they are all unique? You just made that up.
That's right, with one righteous pull from the skull hookah, Nazi Raoul Duke here just predicted the entirety of World War II in 1927. He also does parlor tricks and sleight of hand when he gets really f***ed up.
Wait. Are you suggesting that it's a sin for someone in the Harry Potter world To predict the future?
I don't really know what she's trying here, or what he did to defend it, or why the flames are bigger now, but this is the kind of magical nonsense that makes a muggle like me not give a shit anymore.
No, you're not even a muggle. You're worse than a muggle. A squib. At least muggles have an excuse.
I hate Paris.
Has this been some madcap comedy set in Paris? This is the only acceptable reason this line is set, and even in those types of comedies, a line like that is 100% hack. It feels way out of place in a 2-hour fantasy movie.
Considering you constantly demonstrate that you don't know what the hell fantasy is, I don't think I'll let you tell me what is acceptable in a fantasy film. Thank you very much.
It's a blood pact, isn't it? You swore not to fight each other.
Albus Dumbledore, obfuscating important facts that could actually help a mission succeed without massive ex machinas since 1927.
And that's why he's been winning since 1927, not revealing all your cards until the showdown. Do you even Texas Hold'em?
Aurelius Dumbledore.
I guess this could be a lie, but weird this person was never mentioned in the other Harry Potter stories, even as a footnote.
Because it almost assuredly is a lie, which is why he hasn't been mentioned. Or, you know, J.K. Rowling.
Some people find everything offensive. Okay?